Welcome, class, back to History 103, Intro to the Medieval World. I'm really happy to be with you here today because we're going to Bayeux. Well, we're actually in Bayeux. And before you can see the Bayeux Cathedral, which is just absolutely one of the most stunning, beautiful cathedrals. That it's one of my absolute favorites, so I'm really happy to be here with you. And as well, for a little bit of bonus, because noticed y'all could use a little bit of bonus points with the reading quizzes. For 20 reading quiz bonus points, why don't you write me for 10 points what famous tapestry is in this town, this famous tapestry that's from Bayeux. Tell me what it depicts for 10 points. And then for another 20 points, find your favorite scene from it and tell me why it's your favorite. It can be for any reason whatsoever. So just, get you all involved with the sources a little bit more than before and get you some points back you could use. But for this, I'll be introducing our fourth primary source assignment, which is on the Peace and Truce of God. So this week we'll be analyzing the Peace of God and the Truce of God, which are two documents that happened in the 10th and 11th century, which is an incredibly violent time in Europe. Because you have all these knights out there they're basically trained killers. You have to spend a lot of time training to become a knight. You have to spend a lot of money getting the armor and the weapons and all that. That's not cheap. So they're very specialized troops. And what they would do is they would create quarrels among themselves. They'd be upset for various reasons, and they would fight. And because they couldn't fight one another head to head, because a lot of times if you knew that you were going to get beat, you'd be hanging out in your castle, which is a little hard to get to. What you'd do is you would go to that person's village that they were the lord over, where they had their economic means come from, where they got their taxes and their dues, and you would go burn that village, and you would slaughter some peasants, and you would burn down some fields. And you might go through the church that has some nice gold bits in it and take that out. Well, this is where the Peace of God and the Truce of God come in, is because the bishops are starting to notice this isn't really good because you're killing all our people. So the Peace of God and the Truce of God were then written to sort of prescribe this behavior, to tell people, when you read the Truce of God, you'll see that you're not allowed to fight from sundown on Wednesday until sunup on Monday, which gives you about 2 days of fighting, because the bishops knew if they just said don't fight, that people were going to be like, yeah, whatever you say, we're not going to do it. But if you say, how about you only fight on these 2 days, it gives them the illusion of choice, and then there's less violence happening overall, and it works out. Just to give one example from the document. So the thing that's really interesting about this assignment that I'm really excited and I hope gives you a little bit of insight into how historians do things is one thing I'm sure you've noticed with the assignments I've chosen so far. It doesn't really tell you how everyday people lived life to life. The other assignments have been laws that were decreed by people that were princes and kings, or they've been treaties between one town and another lord. We've looked at writings about the Pope. We've looked at the elites, but we haven't really got a sense of what it was like to be a peasant in this time. But with documents like this, we can somewhat find out, because this is a document saying, hey, we're doing this because the peasants are having a bad time. It's a way for us to sort of read from the side and infer how their life was, because obviously it was violent enough to where the bishops felt like they had to decree these laws about when you were and weren't allowed to fight. Alright, so the question is going to be about what was life like for peasants back in this time, and I'm going to want you to look at these documents and cite parts of these documents telling me, because this prescription says X, that tells us that peasant life was like Y. So that's sort of going to be what the point of the assignment is, aside from the other information you always give, such as the title, the date, the author, why the document was written, and all that. You're getting pretty good at it. I'm really happy with the scores that are coming from the PSAs. Y'all are doing a really good job, and I'm very happy to hear that from you. But yeah, just to sum up, that will be the assignment, the Peace and Truce of God. Obviously I picked Bayeux because, one, I'm specially here. I'm visiting with some very dear friends of mine that have been very kind to be the cinematographer this week, so all of you should be thankful for Dr. Diaz, who you'll never meet. But he's a nice guy anyhow. And hey guys. We're here in Normandy, which is an incredible place. If you're ever in France, I really strongly recommend visiting here, especially Bayeux. As you can tell, this is a stunning cathedral. It is one of my absolute favorites. It is just stunningly beautiful, especially compared to Notre Dame. Everyone knows Notre Dame in Paris, but Notre Dame's kind of your starter cathedral. That's the one you give to your 6-year-old when they're trying to figure out what a cathedral is, but when your kid gets older and they're ready for the cool stuff, you give them Bayeux. So I'm really excited to give this to you, and of course, again, remember the little bonus assignment for your reading quizzes. You get 10 points for telling me what the tapestry that is in Bayeux depicts, and you get an extra 10 points for picking out one scene, any scene, whatever scene you want, and telling me why you like it and why you think it's cool. So that's all I have for the moment. Thank you all so much, and good luck this week. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always willing to help you out. Have a good one.